Good to be with you. I'm Tony DeCopel. The breaking news right now. President Trump today threatening to blow up everything inside Iran if the regime doesn't reopen the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz by Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. What he said about that one-day extension and the civilian targets in the crosshairs.
The entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
Also developing tonight, the battle to rescue that second downed aviator missing behind enemy lines in Iran for more than 48 hours. Tonight, what it took to get him out and how he's doing. Also, Artemis 2 makes history. The crew traveling further into space than anyone has before, more than 250,000 miles away. What they're now saying. And the parents facing child endangerment charges tonight after a wolf grabs their toddler's hand at a popular amusement park zoo. What went wrong?
It is good to be home.
Savannah Guthrie returns to the Today Show anchor desk more than 2 months after the disappearance of her mother. What authorities are now saying about that search. And the good stuff tonight, what were you doing at 14? Dean Roy is running for governor of Vermont.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel.
Thank you for joining us on a very busy Easter Monday. We've been following two big stories all day. Both of them are moments of courage and ingenuity. The first, NASA's Artemis 2 mission for all humankind, as they put it, setting a record for the farthest that humans have traveled from Earth. The crew's comments tonight, what they said to challenge the next generation to keep going. We're going to have a full report in just a moment. But we begin with new information tonight on that successful mission to rescue an American aviator injured and alone some 200 miles inside Iran. CBS News has learned his first call from safety in Kuwait was to his wife and children back home. Senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata now has more on what made that call possible. Charlie, good evening.
Tony, good evening. We learned it was 50 long, harrowing hours from the time the crew ejected until both crew members were rescued from deep inside hostile territory and under fire. President Trump described it as the largest and most complex search and rescue operation ever mounted.
In the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it.
The first phase was risky enough, having identified the location of the pilot of the two-seater fighter jet. 21 planes were scrambled, including an A-10 Warthog, along with attack helicopters. They came under heavy fire, wounding the helicopter rescue crew, but the Warthog suffered critical damage, according to Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Kane.
This pilot continued to fight, continued the mission, and then upon exit, flew his aircraft into another country and determined that the airplane was not landable. The pilot then made the decision to eject over friendly territory and was quickly and safely recovered and is doing fine.
In the race to rescue the weapons systems officer, call sign Dude 44 Bravo, the U.S. military surged more than 150 combat aircraft. Some split up as decoys to throw the Iranians off track.
We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location.
Wounded and bleeding profusely, he evaded Iranian troops and climbed a mountain to send an emergency signal. In the dead of night, hundreds of special operations forces flew in to rescue him, landing in a field and putting together small helicopters in less than 10 minutes. But the C-130s they used were too heavy to fly out, so they called in lighter aircraft to safely bring everyone home. General Kane also paid credit to the crew of the F-15 itself.
Their grit and warfighting tenacity is a direct result of the absolute trust they have in our rescue forces.
CIA Director John Ratcliffe said the agency used top-secret technology to find the second airman, which he described as hunting for a grain of sand in the middle of a desert. And, Tony, everyone injured in that second airman rescue are doing fine.
That's good news. Charlie D'Agata putting it all together for us in London tonight. Charlie, thank you very much. The big question tonight, is the war winding down or is it escalating? Today, President Trump said he didn't know because it depends on whether the Iranians reopen that key shipping lane by his deadline tomorrow. Meanwhile, overnight, Iranian drones hit a U.S. base in Kuwait, injuring 15 Americans. Senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang now joins us from the White House North Lawn with what's next. Weijia, good evening.
Good evening to you, Tony. President Trump is also demanding Iran make an agreement to end the war. The regime recently rejected a ceasefire proposal, but Trump says they are negotiating in good faith and warns failing to meet his terms will result in Iran being bombed back to the, quote, Stone Ages. President Trump warned Iran is running out of time.
We're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants.
Trump defended the threat of attacking civilian infrastructure, claiming this about Iranians.
They would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing.
In an open letter, more than 100 international law experts argue bombing power plants amount to potential war crimes. Trump said he's not concerned about that possibility.
No, I'm not. I hope I don't have to do it. But again, I just said 47 years they've been negotiating with these people.
In a profane Easter morning social media post, Trump also had this message for Tehran. Open the expletive strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Iran continues to block safe passage for many oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, driving up gas prices here at home. The national average now at $4.12 a gallon.
In order for Iran to successfully meet your deadline tomorrow, do they have to make a deal, open the strait, or both?
We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me. And part of that deal is going to be we want free traffic of oil.
Today, President Trump also criticized NATO once again for refusing to help secure the Strait of Hormuz, a topic that will surely come up when the alliance's Secretary General comes to the White House to meet with Trump on Wednesday. Tony?
Be another big day. Weijia, thank you very much. Nearly 250,000 miles away from all of it today, the crew of Artemis II hit the farthest point in space anyone has traveled before. And once the crew finishes its voyage around the far side of the moon tonight, cameras at the ready, we'll get to see what they're seeing. Senior national correspondent Mark Strassman has late developments now from Mission Control in Houston.
It is awesome to see the side of the moon.
Artemis II is over the moon, Earth's first lunar visitors in more than a half century.
The team and the Artemis II crew are ready to begin their lunar flyby.
A lunar flyby passing within 4,000 miles of the moon's surface.
It's just like we're a bunch of little kids up here. We cannot get enough of this.
The crew earlier set a new long-distance space record, nearly 249,000 miles away from the rest of us. That's deeper into space than Apollo 13 in 1970.
We most importantly choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
The crew also named 2 craters on the moon's far side, one poignantly for a pediatric nurse and mother of 2, Commander Reed Wiseman's late wife, Carol. She died of cancer in 2020. Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen's voice cracked naming the crater.
It's a bright spot on the moon, and we would like to call it Carol.
Mission Control watched hushed. The crew hugged. Their lunar flyby curled around the moon's far side, about 20% of it illuminated. The crew will spend hours taking pictures. Among the most giddy about the big moment, NASA scientists. The crew will capture images of the moon's surface never seen before by human eyes.
This room is going to be filled with a lot of very excited scientists.
Kelsey Young's guiding the science for this moon mission. She told us what astronauts see could tell more than their photographs.
For lunar geology, human eyes are a fairly sophisticated scientific instrument.
Absolutely, especially when they're connected to those brilliant astronaut brains.
We talked over the weekend to the crew about this flyby.
You'll be on one side of the moon, everyone else on Earth will be on the other. You'll be focused on the mission. What do you hope the rest of us are thinking about?
Gratitude that out of this huge universe, we get to live together on Earth, planet Earth. If you can just think about what it means to be together and what it means to be apart from your loved ones during that time and reflect on that, maybe we'll all come to a realization.
Tony, on the far side of the moon, the crew lost line of sight with Earth and all radio communication. Radio silence for roughly 40 minutes. It bears repeating. 4 people on one side of the moon and the rest of us on the other. Tony?
Mark Strassman continuing just incredible coverage of this chapter for history tonight. Thank you. Data centers are used to store, train, and operate AI models. They are controversial as well because they gobble up power and water. But in Indianapolis overnight, the politics of data centers turned violent when someone shot up the home of a councilman who voiced his support for one. CBS News correspondent Chanel Call joins us with details.
Tony, just days after voting in favor of building a new data center in Indianapolis, local council member Ron Gibson says he woke up to the sound of gunfire overnight. Gibson said 13 rounds were fired at his home while he and his 8-year-old son were asleep. Some of those bullets landing just steps from their dining room table where his son was playing with Legos the day before. When he stepped outside, he says he found this handwritten note reading "No data centers" under the doormat.
There are real benefits tied to this development. Construction is expected to support roughly 300 jobs over a 3-year period.
While some councilors argued the data center will bring revenue and jobs, there was pushback from residents over environmental and quality of life concerns. The vote to move forward passed 6-2. Indianapolis police are calling this an isolated and targeted incident, and police have yet to identify a suspect. And one group that protested that data center last week released a statement today saying in part, violence has no place in our community or in our advocacy. The FBI now assisting in the investigation. Tony?
Chanel, thank you very much. Tonight, authorities are looking into a deadly house explosion in a St. Louis suburb. 3 people were killed when this home in Troy, Illinois, blew up and then burned Sunday night. First responders rescued one person with major injuries. Several others inside did manage to get out. The FBI and federal bomb experts are now investigating. Now to Pennsylvania, where a family trip to Hershey Park's Zoo America ended with a toddler grabbed by a gray wolf and the parents facing charges of endangerment. Investigative reporter Tom Hansen tells us what went wrong.
A family outing at Hershey Park's Zoo America in Pennsylvania on Saturday turned into a frightening scene after a 17-month toddler wandered away from his parents and stuck his hand under the fence of a wolf enclosure. Zoo officials say one of 3 wolves in the enclosure grabbed the child's hand with its mouth. Quick-thinking bystanders pulled the child to safety. He suffered minor injuries. Police say the toddler squeezed through a small opening in a perimeter fence and crawled into the restricted section near the wolf exhibit. Investigators allege that the child's parents were distracted by their cell phones and sat on a nearby bench about 30 feet away from the wolf enclosure. The parents are now each facing 1 count of endangering the welfare of a child. In a statement, Zoo America says our habitats are designed with multiple layers of protection, adding guests are expected to remain within designated areas and closely supervise children at all times.
Parents are not off the hook when it comes to closely monitoring their children in spaces of this nature. It's a misdemeanor. They're looking at the potential for up to 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine.
No, keep going.
Last year, a young boy was caught on video at the same park walking on a monorail track 20 feet above the ground. The ride was not in service that day, and luckily, the child was uninjured. And Tony, we went inside the park earlier this afternoon. Things seem to be getting back to normal with all 3 wolves on display for people to see, Tony.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Still ahead on the broadcast, Savannah Guthrie is back in the anchor chair. What she had to say to viewers this morning. And a fiery motorcycle crash caught on home surveillance video. What happened to the rider? Today, for the first time since Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped over 2 months ago, Savannah Guthrie was back co-anchoring the Today Show. CBS News correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti has an update now, beginning with what Guthrie had to say this morning.
We are so glad you started your week with us, and it is good to be home.
Savannah Guthrie calling her return this morning a protest against evil.
We feel your prayers, so thank you so much.
Off camera, though, there is no news on the whereabouts of her mother, Nancy Guthrie, and whoever may have kidnapped her from her Tucson home. In an emotional Easter Sunday message, Guthrie admitted wrestling with her own strained faith.
There are moments in which that promise seems irretrievably far away, when life itself seems far harder than death.
It's been 64 days since her 84-year-old mother disappeared, and at least from the outside, leads appear to have dried up.
Does it surprise you that we're this far in and there's very little evidence that has been made public at this point?
No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Retired LAPD detective Paul Coulter has worked several high-profile cases.
Savannah Guthrie back on the job. What does her being on television every morning do to this case?
It keeps her mother's case in the limelight because people see her and they think about it.
Law enforcement officials tell CBS News that investigators are pressing forward, continuing to analyze DNA material and reviewing video from surveillance cameras. The search may be a lonely one, but the family is not enduring it alone.
You guys have been so beautiful. I've received so many letters, so much kindness.
And alongside letters and kindness, investigators have received thousands of tips, but so far not a single one has led to Nancy Guthrie or an arrest, Tony.
Maybe soon. Jonathan, thank you very much. Yeah. Up next, a deer struggling to squeeze through a fence. We'll tell you what happened next. A man in San Antonio, Texas, noticed a commotion across the street from his house, checked the doorbell camera, and saw this. As 4 kids come home from school, a motorcycle slides through the intersection, slams the curb, breaks apart on a light pole, and explodes into the flames you see there. And if you watch again, you can see the rider also slides through and also catches fire before running and rolling on the grass nearby. Amazingly, the kids are okay. The rider also expected to make a full recovery. If you live by deer, you know they jump over just about everything, and maybe this is why. Firefighters in California recently rescued a deer who tried to squeeze between 2 fence railings. The deer, like so many of us, underestimating the size of its own caboose. But first responders cut it free, and the deer went on to jump another day. 2.5 million people were watching over the weekend when bald eagles Jackie and Shadow welcomed 2 chicks to their nest in California's Big Bear Valley. One eaglet hatched on live stream Saturday, the other followed Sunday, while its sibling got its first feeding. No names yet. We're trusting local 3rd graders to vote on a list of choices. Still ahead, the good stuff. Meet the 14-year-old who would like his entire state to call him governor.
This portion of the CBS Evening News is sponsored by Teva in support of the mental health community.
We're back with the good stuff tonight. Between now and the midterms, you're going to hear a lot about our broken politics, and what I'm about to tell you is not a cure, but maybe it's a start. Meet Dean Roy, 14 years old, works part-time at his parents' pizza shop, and is also busy running for governor of Vermont.
This campaign isn't about me. It's about securing Vermont's future as a state where all of us can afford to live in.
That was his launch last summer. He launched with his best friend, Charlie Bass. Here's Charlie there. He's the running mate on the ticket as well. And because Vermont has no minimum age for governor, this is really happening. After filing the paperwork this winter, Roy will officially be on the ballot in Vermont for governor this fall. He's not running as a Democrat, not running as a Republican, not even running as an adult. He says he's running as a third-party candidate who is tired of politics as usual.
What do you hope Americans take away from your candidacy?
That the youth have a voice. If my campaign manages to successfully influence other young people to also run and also try to make a change, then I think that would be one of the best things that could happen after this campaign.
People are noticing the current governor applauds Roy, he says, in general, but through a spokesperson questioned his fitness for the job, citing a lack of experience. Ouch. Welcome to politics, Roy. It sounds like you're already getting their attention. That's another day in America. I'm Tony DeCopel. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Good night for now.